Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Wagner, you're probably not used to seeing him, or if you have Mr. Wagner, you're probably not used to seeing me, Mr. Jensen, but we are here together. And as I like to say, Mr. Swagner, because you're always looking so good. And yes. You know, it's true. Mine's fading very quickly.
Yeah, yours is not even close to mine.
Well,
Way older than me.
yeah. That's because you carry a lot more burdens than I do. Being that good looking and, you know.
Recommend Mrs. Burden.
No, Dr. Burden. All right, so what we're going to do here with you guys is we're going to just go through and show you just a couple of the features that we've been working on as of the first day. We just want to make sure that you have a visual of what it looks like to be a student, and that there's all access to what it looks like to turn on and turn off some of the things that we talked about yesterday. This is also going to be a video that we'll probably put inside of our Google Classrooms under the frequently asked questions page. So if you need to access that, you're welcome to access that and rewatch that as well. What you're viewing right now is Mr. Jensen's computer. I am the student and the young Padawan. And we have Mr. Wagner's side, who is the teacher.
Yes, impressive. Much to learn you have.
Now, Mr. Wagner, can I share my screen as a student?
As the student, no, you cannot. Only the teacher can do that. It's a safety thing. We don't want you sharing anything that's inappropriate or not necessary for the class. So, no, you will not be able to share your screen.
Now, one of the things I want to feature that you probably already know, but just in case you were wondering, there might be one or two kids. How do I mute my video? Because the teacher might have muted it for you, or you might have come into the classroom with a muted video. But in this bottom left-hand corner here, this is where you actually mute the video down there. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's dumb. Of course, everybody knows that. Yeah, once again, not everybody knows everything. But muting the video is right down here in the left corner where it says mute. Right next to that is stop video. If you click that, it's going to just put a picture of you up, and you're going to stop that video just like that. To restart it again, you just click on it, just like Mr. Wagner stopped his video. Now, next to stop video is a little up arrow. This is what I was telling you about yesterday. If your room's messy, or if you don't want people to see the inside of your house and you're kind of self-conscious about that, totally understandable. Click this arrow and click choose virtual background. A window will pop up, and in your settings, you will have the ability to choose and change what is behind you. Mr. Jensen, it doesn't say choose virtual background on my screen. Possibly you're going to have to, after the Zoom, go to your account. That's when you first get ready to log in. You go to zoom.us. It'll take you right to the website. You click on my account, you log in, you go to the settings. If you're really wanting to know that, I'll do you a video separate to show you how to do that. But that is where that virtual background was turned on and off, as you saw some kids doing. Only thing I ask you not to do, Mr. Wagner, you probably concur, is make sure your virtual background isn't something inappropriate, and don't change it 60 times in a minute, because that could become a distraction.
If that is an issue, we can actually stop your video.
Yes.
You won't be able to turn it back on.
Good point. That is a very good point. Next thing over is your participants. Now, there's a 2 in here because there's only 2 of us. But when we are in the view together, when there is a bunch of people in a Zoom, you can go up to the top right corner where it says speaker view. The speaker view up here tells you you'll see a main screen of who's talking at that time. So, Mr. Wagner, you're considered my speaker as my teacher. I have it in speaker view. And now Mr. Wagner's placed right there in the front and center. If Mr. Wagner wants to share his screen while I'm in speaker view, he can do so, and it won't lose Mr. Wagner. It will only show Mr. Wagner as the speaker on the right-hand side, and it'll show his desktop and whatever he wants to show me as the main screen. That's called speaker view. Now, if I want to see all my friends and I want to play, maybe there's a game, and Mr. Wagner says, hey, everybody go to gallery view. We're going to play a game. Up there in the right-hand corner is gallery view. You click that again, and that's where you're going to have what looks like the Brady Bunch. As more people add themselves in, you're going to have boxes all over the place. Right next to where it says speaker view or gallery view is what you see on YouTube. It's the enter full screen or minimize down. If you click on that, your whole entire screen becomes just the Zoom. If you go, ooh, I need to check something, Mr. Jensen said, go on another website. Click exit full screen in the top right corner. Now you can move your Zoom around just like you see me doing here, and you can access the different tabs or the different things that you need to. If you need to open another page because you need to go to another thing, you can do that as well. And then to go back into it, you can either hit that box right here in the middle that makes it full screen, or you can hit the actual full screen button as well. Mr. Wagner, anything you want to add to that?
No, if Mr. Jensen or myself ask you to go to a web page, and you hit the Google Chrome button, which is on the bottom, the red, yellow, green, and blue button, the circle. To go back, all you got to do is click the little blue camera. So if Mr. Jensen has a web page open and he doesn't see the camera anywhere, he can just hit the blue button, and that should bring him back right to the camera.
There it is.
Everybody else.
That's a great point. I'm glad you said that because that could be very confusing. So again, this little blue button, like Mr. Wagner said, is your Zoom. Mr. Wagner, I'm going to send you a chat.
Okay.
And then I've also got my participants tab as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to open my chat window because I'm just kind of curious. And it says to everyone on my side. But I can also go to Mr. Wagner.
Yeah, so what I can do is if students aren't being appropriate, I can change it so that it's only to the host chat. So if so-and-so isn't doing something appropriate, I change it to host. Now Mr. Jensen should only be able to chat to me.
Oh, yep, you're right.
Yep.
If I click the chat button, it only says Mr. Wagner. It doesn't say to everyone.
If that's not being appropriate, I can go to no one, and now Mr. Jensen actually cannot chat to me. So we have that feature. If the chat is getting blown up, if it's not appropriate, we can actually turn it off.
Now, we might open the chat if we're playing a game like Name That Tune, so everybody can see the answers. But we also might close the chat to just the teacher in the case that we want to make sure that the chat is only going to be between you and I, because there might be a private conversation that we have together. That's a good point, Mr. Wagner. I'm glad you added that.
If it says to everyone, you can actually just send a private chat to me.
Yes.
So
now, if I type in there and I say, Mr. Wagner, I need to go early today, and I send that to you.
Yes, I am the only one that receives that chat.
Perfect.
If you have everyone selected, everyone will see it.
If I said something inappropriate to you, Mr. Wagner, could anybody catch me?
Oh, yes. I can. We actually, as teachers, can save the chat as a file, and I can bring that chat. Say, Mr. Jensen said, Mrs. Bergner, Mrs. Skilling said.
It would print it out with my name on it, the time that I said it and everything. Oh, no. So I need to be careful what I'm saying in the chat. Could you print out the chat, though, if I was doing a private chat to my friend, let's say, and we were just laughing and giggling and doing, could you print that out, too?
Yes.
So if somebody was saying some bullying things or inappropriate harassment and somebody noted me privately, hey, I'm being harassed by so-and-so, Mr. Jensen just has to hit print and we have it all documented. Yikes. We got to be careful of that one. Okay, so there is no privacy as far as, even though it says privately, there is no real privacy because we have access to everything that you do on this wonderful thing called Zoom. All right. So let's say that something's happening, Mr. Wagner, and you ask us to put a thumbs up, thumbs down, things like that. This should all be found in what's called your participants tab. And in the participants tab, there is a raise hand right there. I'm going to actually minimize the chat. So you see raise hand. If I click on raise hand, it shows me in the participants chat, participants area, where I have my hand raised. Mr. Wagner, you can see my hand being raised?
Correct. Yeah, it says raise hand, which means you have a question. I can then lower your hand.
Oh, nice.
But then if I notice your hand, I can...
There is a yes check and a no check. If I click yes check, does it give me a green little circle?
It does.
Oh, so if you were to ask me a question, Mr. Jensen, are you feeling good today?
Yes, you could say yes or no.
I could say yes, or I could say no. Yeah. What does the go slower, go faster mean?
Well, if we're talking too fast, which we tend to do sometimes, you're welcome to push those buttons. The go slower is just kind of a rewind button, it looks like, which means slow down. And then the go faster means Mr. Wagner, you're blabbering. You need to stop.
What about the more? Oh my gosh, you've got a thumbs down. You've got a thumbs up. You've got a clap. Nice joke, Mr. Wagner. There's a cup of coffee. And then there's a timer.
Yep. So the coffee is just to need a break. And then the timer is like I'm away. So
Now this is found underneath participants, but I've noticed too that if I close participants, right next to screen share is record as well as reactions. Now I think if I hit record, yep, please request recording permissions from the meeting host. We're not able to record the video. You're not able to record your own video of it. But next to that is reactions, and that's just a quick little area where you've got a thumbs up or you've got a clap. Can we add or change reactions in that little hotspot? Do you know?
I believe you can change the color of them, but you have to go into your settings.
Settings. So I'd have to actually go into my Zoom settings to change that. Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. Now, I don't think I can invite people into my Zoom, can I?
No.
It shows that I could technically click on somebody. I can get the copy invitation, but
if they are invited, which they should not be, that's one of our number one rules, is not to invite anyone into our Zooms. I like to think of it as our secret little circle.
And technically they won't be able to get in because
they would be put in a waiting room, and then I could then remove them from there, but they would actually not be in the meeting.
Yes. So parents are not allowed to just drop in from work. And they have to have a Cheney SD School District website designed password and login. So they would be Nix8 on that one. Well, I think that covers pretty much everything, Mr. Wagner.
I think so.
Anything you want to say or do?
No, but when does a dad joke become a dad joke?
I don't know.
The punchline becomes apparent.
Clap, 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 clap. That was fantastic. Yeah. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Nicely done. All right. I think we're good to go. It looks like everything's good. If you need any settings midway through in your audio, those of you guys who are a little more tech savvy, and you say, wait, I have different microphones, Mr. Jensen, than you do. Probably because I have a microphone plugged in. Mr. Wagner has a microphone plugged in. If you do that, it's going to say USB, and it's going to show you have extra ones. You should just have your system microphone. You should just have your regular, I have a headset speaker set in basically, but you should just have everything regularly set. If you need to plug in some headphones, obviously that'll be an extra speaker set there on your computer. So if you have a Chromebook or something and you can't hear very well, the only thing I would ask is sometimes your computers do not pick up audio as well as ours do because I have a microphone next to my face. You probably can hear me pretty well. If you do not, and it sounds something like this, you're probably going to need to make sure that you speak up just a little bit or lean into your computer when you go to talk because your microphone's actually on your computer. I don't want to be the person that embarrasses you and says, I can't hear what you said. And last but not least, if you are glitching and it seems like we can't get a good video feed because your Wi-Fi's not strong enough, maybe you have 2 or 3 people on it, best thing I can suggest to you is just stop video for yourself, open up the chat bar, and just say, Wi-Fi is lagging, Mr. Wagner. My video is off. That just lets us know that you're not messing around on us. There's a good reason. Obviously, it's going to be an honor system because you could say that it's lagging and it's actually not. It's just that you're on the video game system right next door to it. And of course, Fortnite is also taking up bandwidth. So if we're seeing that there's some issues, I'll probably just give your phone ring just to see, Mr. So-and-so, is your home okay with internet? Because we can always work with you on that. Okay. Oh, look at that. There's a little +1 in my chat. What does that mean? That means I have a, sounds good. Thanks, Mr. Jensen. Sounds good too. Thank you, Mr. Wagner. We appreciate you.
Sure.
Talk to you soon.
Later.
Bye-bye.